I suggest, I don't know if y'all can see it, but I write stuff in my journals. I don't know what y'all say. Protected in Jesus' name. Hey. Hey, everybody. Hey, Kimmy. Hey, boo. Mm, mm, mm. Hey, Desi. Child, I ain't gonna lie, I'm tired. Mamas is tired, honey. Mamas is tired. Hey, Roses are red. I know y'all gonna talk about me like, well, she always eating something. Mm-hmm. It's a blood orange. I hope it don't bother y'all. Y'all be watching that muck gang, whatever y'all call whatever y'all call it. Y'all be watching all kind of stuff. And people just be smacking away. Y'all don't care. I know that little bit didn't bother you. Hey, all my babies. Thank you for coming here. For those of you who are new, I am Rafiki Simone. We used to be called the Mystic Circle over here. You might have been familiar with me when I was the Mystic Circle. We're now the Order of the Mystic Healers. The website is up. It's rebuilt. Oh my God. I'm so excited. I'm offering new stuff. I'm still doing the 2022 cent money ritual. Still get in if y'all ain't got in yet. But my money spray is ready to go. Oh God, yes. And let me just say this about this money spray. It's not just calling and attracting money. It's also going to take away any blockages, and it chases spirits away from your money. Anything unhexing, uncrossing, all of that. I am offering new services as well. Y'all might want to go and check that out. I'm not sure if I put it in the description box already. Yeah, I did. Hi, honeys. You know what? I am well, given the fact that I did that reading earlier. I was pooped. Woo! I got a really great word for y'all. I believe from the 22nd to the 31st. Give me one moment. Yep. From the 22nd, which was Tuesday, Mardi, the day of Mars, Mardi. Now, so 22nd, 9 days in total. From the 22nd to the 31st, we are in the shadow side of the moon. Thank you, Kim. For those of you who want your prosperity, money rain, money fall, where they made money, money rain. Y'all better go to the website. My Patreon mystics, they always get a discount unless otherwise. And they always get first dibs within 24 hours. Anything left over goes to the public mystics. So it's not my fault when these public mystics start going in and you can't find nothing. Ain't my fault. Say like mystical, it ain't my fault. It ain't my fault. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all know here on this channel, I used to have a nice little crush on Mystical, honey. Nice little crush on his big googly eyed ass. Shout out to Mystical, honey. I smell smoke. Oh my God. Smoking. Getting loaded. Let me stop. Y'all know we have fun over here. Let me see. I'm just waiting for a little. Okay. I did start off joking and stuff, but this is it's not. I want to say it's a serious matter. It's serious enough though. It's serious enough. As always, I'm always prepared to give y'all render y'all a little sermonette. So the shadow side of the moon, from the 22nd to the 31st, we got Jupiter and Neptune together, which is bringing up deep emotions, causing us to be more sensitive toward ourselves and others. Expansion of dreams, creativity, downloads, uploads. Neptune rules dreams, that's Piscean energy. Jupiter rules expansion. They both have creative sides. One is a more darker energy or more Neptune Poseidon energy gives me Olukun energy, which is the darker side. I don't want to, when I say dark, I'm not talking about evil. The more mysterious side of Yemeya Yemoja. Some people say Olukun is masculine. This would be a merman. To others, this is feminine energy, which is mermaid, but she doesn't come to the surface. This is what rules the deep and hidden mysteries. This is like Neptune energy. So I'm telling you, we got a lot of stuff happening, and this has not happened in I think 166 years. So this is big energy, y'all. It's called the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction of 2022. This is April 12th. It actually happens. It says funny enough, Neptune actually wants to break free from reality. Says from February the 11th to June 30th, the 22nd, and then from September the 7th, which I believe is September the 7th. This is crazy. September the 7th is the feast day of Yemeya. Then going into from September the 7th, going into January the 15th of 2023, Jupiter is conjoined or is in conjunction with Neptune in the sky. This is 59 degrees, I think. Nope, 23. They both are at 5 though, at the number 5. So this is a breakdown here because this is all coinciding with this, my dears, my babies. Jupiter wants to live out loud. Let's get loud. Let's get loud. I'm hearing a forecast of Jupiter and this Neptune conjunction. There is going to be something new, if not already. Something like Bitcoin. This is either electronic or this is dealing with Wall Street trading stocks. Something is getting ready to happen that is going to be new on the scene and it's going to cause a boom. I'm hearing it's going to turn wealth over in the hands it's going to turn the favor of wealth over in the hands of people who were almost as if like they weren't meant to even get rich. Financial rain. I want y'all also to be aware of schemes and fraud, get rich money quick schemes, con artists, scams, because as Jupiter conjoins with Neptune, and this is April 11th. I mean, I'm sorry, April 12th. Yeah, this is gonna wealth is getting ready to. So y'all remember when Trump was in office? I don't know. It has something to do. I feel like this next boom is either going to be crypto related or trading stocks related, or some. I'm gonna just say it like this: whatever this next boom is going to be new or a reinvention of something that existed, and it's going to cause wealth to get in the hands of the unwealthy. It's going to be like how Bitcoin was. Everybody slept on Bitcoin. I remember when my cousin told me to get in on it when it was like $13, $15 a pop. I didn't. The truth is, I didn't have a job at the time. I was a single parent. My second child was born. I didn't have any money. He told me about it, but yet I it was like $15, and then I didn't know how. See, this is my thing. I don't like it when people tell me, "Hey, look, get in on this, do this," but you ain't telling me how. It's almost as if like this, and this is how it feels. It's almost as if like people around you is told by God to warn you of a financial upgrowth. And they're like, I don't really want to. I don't want to see them prosper, but they have to tell you. But then this is the loophole where I can tell them, but I ain't necessarily got to help them. That's kind of when I look back at it. That's how it felt. How you opinionated asshole? Opinionated asshole. How you doing, sweetheart? uh yeah, you said stocks. The boom has started this week already. GME and AMC. Wow. Mm, yep. Like NFTs, I don't get NFTs either, but it's an energy. It's a boomer. Now, for me personally, I am not looking to get. I'm not looking to get into NFTs from the buying point of view. I'm looking to get into NFTs from the creative point of view. I'll tell you the truth because it's probably already out there. I reached out months and months and months ago. I reached out to a young lady in Afghanistan to mock up for me NFTs. I was going to start something called Monkeys. Shaman monkeys. Now watch this. Anybody who didn't stole my idea, if you prosper, it's gonna come back to me. Anybody who is looking at this that's willing to try to steal my idea, you might prosper. All that's gonna come back to me. Laugh now, cry later. Because if you a thief, scratch a lie, you're gonna find a thief. So I was making up. I went to her and I asked about creating a group of NFTs called Shaman Monkeys. And so I gave her a mock-up of what I wanted it to look like. Very detailed, mandala type of energy, because it was very detailed. It's monkeys with feather dressings, right? Now, the monkeys really represent, I'm going to just say it, humans. The monkeys represent humans or humanoid, or what you call God DNA merging with golem. And I don't want to say golem. I guess that's a bad term for me to use. But clay and God mixed together. This is like heaven on earth. Shaman monkeys, shaman, actually named after my daughter. Because I used to actually call her that. She was fascinated with boots from Dora the Explorer. And it was going to be a collective energy. Now, I'm not going to tell you what each shaman monkey or shaman monkey was. Now, Unfortunately, for whatever reason, it was just like something was not meshing well. I don't know if she took it. I don't know if it exists now, but I know there was nothing on the NFT scene that was called that except for mine. I got downloads and ideas to also do sigils and different things for NFTs to actually protect electronic money because nobody else is doing it. That's my idea. Now, it's on somebody that who creates it, but you don't have the mind that I have. You don't have the view and the vision that I have. And I still have these visions and I still have these views. Now, we all are born with some form of genius. It's up to you to tap into it. Why am I putting it out there? Because I do feel like the NFT I feel like the NFT movement is gonna stay around maybe for a couple of more years. I'm it may be actually dying down and no one is talking about the fact that it's dying down. I felt like it's just like Bitcoin. It's gonna get to a certain thing. It's gonna get to a certain threshold. Then people are gonna stop talking about it. You hear Bitcoin now because it's being regulated or whatever, and it's like the big thing. But you don't hear people talking about Bitcoin as much. Anytime something booms or is getting ready to boom, you're going to hear people talking about it. If they start talking about it and it's saturated, you're too late. 17 on the clock, 17 people in. Um, so that's just putting that out there is to capitalize on your ideas. I'm also hearing the need to look into virtual real estate. I don't know. I'm not, let me just say this. I ain't really into technology like that. I'm a momo. I am a momo. I am a Southern girl, tried and true. I do this technology stuff because I have to. I don't do this technology foolery because it's the trend. I like to actually keep a healthy boundary between me and technology. I can go with the flow and I can move with it, but I really ain't. I'm really not trying to make it my life, if you can understand what I'm saying. Okay. Um, yeah, Ape Coins is making people millionaires. You say you just do stocks, you just spreading the knowledge with the cheat code. Cool deal, cool. I'm seeing some people in here that's really new. I just want y'all to know we come with love and light. Any evil eye that's sent to me is sent back 100-fold, non-reversible, and plus. I wanted to just speak a blessing and a peace and protection over all of my mystic healers, new, coming in, and existing. Thank you to all my Patreon mystics. Thank you to all my mystics who send donations. I got a beautiful donation while I was doing the Tracy Braxton reading early today. Thank you so much. Also, shout out to everybody who are moderators and who donated to St. Jude and is going to donate to St. Jude just through that reading for Tracy Braxton, the channel message that came out. So 1911 on the clock. This is the timestamp. Starting at 1911. The title for this is called "What Are You Willing to Put on the Altar?" I'm going to be rendering this beautiful message from Genesis chapter 22. Now, please understand that I am not a religious channel. I card read over here. I do spell work, but I love God with all my heart, soul, and mind. I believe that Jesus Christ was sent as God in the flesh, as the Son of God, made known to all men, given mystic healing and teachings, and was an initiate of the 33rd plus degree and beyond of the secrets of the pyramid, the mystic order, and of Egyptian mysticology, also known as esoteric and occultic knowledge. I also do believe that he was a master magician. I also do believe that he was the master hierophant. And I also believe that he was the master priest. I believe that he did die and rise again. with the help of his counterpart, Mary Magdalene. I also do believe that he has a natural blood covenant and lineage that operates and lives till this day. I do believe he had children, yes. Um, I do believe that the offspring lives amongst us and is called by the order of Melchizedek. I am going to be starting my teachings in Patreon coming April. Please be looking for that. We're going to get into what Melchizedek was. This is something I've been preparing for a minute. I wanted to come to y'all righteously. I wanted to make sure that it was set. I'm a type of person, there's 22 people in here and it's 11 likes, so there's 2 master numbers in this building. With that being said, there are different shadow typings in the Bible, in the Word of God. I respect all walks and all teachings as I am an omniist, which means I believe that there's truth in every spiritual walk. And when I find that truth, I either apply it or I teach from it or whatever. I don't knock anybody as long as it leads you to the source of love. That's what I promote here on this channel. Hey, Divine Life. Genesis chapter 22 talks about Abraham willingness to offer up Isaac as a burnt sacrifice unto God. But I just want to talk a little bit about the scripture, the chapter before that. The chapters before that, which is chapter 21, which talks about in the first half, which is verse 1 to verse 21. So it's 21 chapter, verses 1, 2, all the way up to 21. So that's 21. You see how this is correlating, 21. So master number 3 has been in here in the building all day long. Up until that point, we're talking about the birth of Isaac. We are talking about also Abraham sending his slave wife, Hagar, with his son Ishmael away into the wilderness with some food and an animal sack of water. Ishmael received the promise of God anyhow, which he is still blessed to this day. Some people say that Ishmael is the progenitor of the Arabic race. I believe that this is true. I always did say the Arabs are our cousins. They can't undo it. Neither can we. I also feel like that's probably why they are very comfortable setting up gas stations in our neighborhoods. And I want to say this. It's time to bridge the gap between us and Arabs with love. I respect the Arab community, mashallah. I respect the fact that they are about peace. And believe it or not, the covering for a woman actually protects her. They are big in protecting their wives. And anybody knows me, I'm big on protection, especially in a relationship. You can't be with me if you can't protect me. Especially what I've learned from this marriage that I just got out of. You can't come into my life and not be able to protect me. Nope. You cannot be no jellyback man fucking with me. Sorry. Ladies, you got to make sure that you know your worth so that you won't have to demand when a man comes into your life that he's able to protect you. He will prove that right off the bat because he will see that you know who you are and that you understand your value and your worth. Okay? With that being said, I respect that community. I do. So my olive branch and my peace offering, I offer to them. Hoping and praying that they know that all black people ain't against them. We should know all Arabs ain't against us. It's all about love. You'd be surprised who speaks the language of love. Say it with me before we even go any further. Say, I have more allies than enemies. I have more friends than foes. Okay. Non-reversible. We love it. So from the 22nd chapter, 22nd verse and the 21st chapter, now we talk about a king called Abimelech. Now, this is the crazy part. Abraham and Sarah was passing through. Now, you know, I like to do my ghetto Bible stories. That ain't changed. They were passing through a specific area in Palestine, matter of fact, because Abimelech is a Palestinian king. They were traveling through, sojourning through, and apparently this king seen Sarah, watch this, in her old age, which meant she was a fox because this was after Isaac was born. And remember, she was like, what, 90 something or in her 80s when she had that baby? That king say, oh, she fine, I want her. I got to have her. Uh-huh. Yeah, give me that one right there. Some word and say, hey, what it? Give me that woman. Who is she to you? 3113. Mirrored numbers. Mirrors and threes have been coming up today. Abraham said, well, you know, this is my sister. Now, hold on. Watch this. To the king, to the Palestinian king Abimelech, he did not lie. He didn't lie. That was his sister. Because if you read and you see the lineage, Abraham is the half brother to Sarah or Sarai. This is not a lie. But watch this. He told a truth. He told a truth to protect his neck. And in protecting his neck, he sacrificed and offered up his wife. What am I saying? He did not protect his wife when he was supposed to. It's going to help somebody right here. Because what happens next, watch this, what happens next, God said, okay, I see that you don't value your wife the way that you should, but you value this little boy. So now I'm going to ask you to offer him up to me. I want to see how much you love me. Because apparently you value the boy over the mother who actually brought the boy to you. See, because we got to go even further back. God said, now I changed your name from Abram to Abraham to align with the promise that I spoke over you under the night sky while you was looking up at the stars. I said, I'm going to give you the seeds of the earth, a number that no man can number. So I'm gonna change the name from Abram to Abraham, which means father of many nations. Now, how you gonna bless me in my old age? Then sent the angel, who I believe was Gabriel, to tell Sarah, hey, look, girl, you about to get pregnant. You better get ready, better get that womb ready, start stretching, start doing yoga poses, whatever you got to do. God said, now watch this. This is what God said. Watch this. He said, she laughed. He changed her name from Sarai to Sarah. Gave her the baby. Gave her the baby. But watch this. She, not believing the promise at first, told her handservant, her handmaid, who was her slave, Hagar, go sleep with my husband so your child can be my child. So I can receive this promise from God through this baby that you're going to have with my husband. Now watch this. She ends up getting pregnant though. And now in the 21st chapter of Genesis, the little boy Ishmael is now mocking his little brother Isaac. And she gets mad and wants to put them away. You follow me? Now you asked for this baby. You got the baby, but now you got your own. Now you see that the promise was going to come to you anyway. So now you saying, okay, you got to, her and her baby got to go. Now watch this. Hagar got hurt. She was hurt and misused and mistreated. Let's call it for what it is. She was misused and mistreated by Sarah. But God said, hold on. Because God said, now this thing kind of upset Abraham. Now why? Now, wife, hold on now. Because this is my second wife and she got my son too. Now hold on. I'm not really liking the fact that I got to put this woman away. But then God said, listen to your wife. Do whatever she's telling you to do. I'm going to bless him and her. And he did. He kept that promise. But he understood that Sarah was not going to be able to further whatever that was, knowing that there was strife in the house. But the fact is that she was the first wife. Doesn't matter if Hagar's son was born first. See, this is what we have to understand. It's not always about birthright being on the firstborn. Okay? Because Isaac was not the firstborn. Ishmael was. You understand? Now, getting back to Abimelech. Abimelech said, I want her, I got to have her. But she was somebody else's wife. Now, this man put his neck out there and said, she my sister. So you know what ended up happening? King Abimelech ended up taking Sarah into his company. Now, he did not have sex with her. But because this happened, God said, I'm about to strike this Negro dead. Do you hear what I'm saying? Listen, God said to Abimelech, he said, I'm going to strike you dead. I'm coming to take you. I'm going to take you clean up out of here. And Abimelech had to say, hold on, God, wait. I ain't did nothing wrong. You going to strike an innocent man? I ain't do nothing wrong. What is this? Why are you coming up against me? Watch this. Sin of omission versus sin of commission. Now watch this. Because Abraham told a half a truth, or he told a truth to protect his own neck, he ended up sacrificing and offering up, watch this, 33 on the clock. I can't make it up. He ended up sacrificing and offering up his wife, Sarah, without really his knowledge. He really didn't know what was going to happen, even though I'm pretty sure he knew, hey, my wife is fine. They probably do want her. But he was willing to take that chance. And watch this. Now he has to beseech God, because I'm pretty sure that's why God had to come and say, I'm about to kill Abimelech. Now, God knowing all, but do we think that Abraham said, okay, now God, hold on now. Now my wife was taken into captivity. I need her back. That probably was a prayer. Do you think he said, God, now I didn't did something I wasn't supposed to do. I didn't, to protect my neck. I didn't want them to kill me behind my wife now. So I know she pretty, she beautiful. So yeah, I just said that's my sister. I didn't know they was gonna take her. They did. They took her. This is gonna tie into something. Hold on now, follow me here. Because I know we're living in the age of Aquarius. Forward thinking, technology, creativity, the star card. The age of the underdog becoming the overdog. Everybody who was first becomes last, and everybody who was last becomes first. The tides, the turning of the tides, the turning of the tables, the power shift in the hands of folks. Do you hear what I'm telling you? The changing of the guards is the age of Aquarius. But you got to understand the fine print, because there is fine print. I'm about to help you what the fine print is. Abimelech said, King Abimelech said, don't strike me. I didn't do nothing wrong. And then God had to tell him, for the woman that you have in custody is somebody's wife. He said, hold on. This man didn't tell me that was his wife. He said that was his sister. He said, all right, okay, go back and return her to her rightful place. He did. So then we jump into the 22nd verse of the 21st chapter, and he talks about how Abimelech, King Abimelech, the Philistine king, took his first commander with him of his military, of his arms, Philcall, or Fecall, went to Abraham and said, hey, look, I see the favor of God on you. I know that anybody that's going to bless you is going to be blessed, and I know anybody that's going to curse you is going to be cursed. This is where the Ishmael track comes in. There have been many Arabs that will set shop up, and I got to say it. They set shop up in our communities with hopes of keeping us low so that we don't get out and we can continue to patronize their business. Why? Because they said as long as the children of Israel stay asleep, doesn't matter if you don't bless them, because they're cursed with a curse. When you sleep, you're cursed with the spirit of lula or lullaby, which in Zulu means to be put to sleep, to be lured to sleep. You're lured to sleep. What am I saying? You don't know the stipulations of Deuteronomy 28, chapter 14 through 68, which means, now watch this, verses 1 through 14 says, if you will be blessed in the city, blessed in the field, blessed coming in, blessed going out, if you keep God's commandments, if you do these things. But then in the 14th verse to the 68th verse says, now if you don't, this is the curses that's going to follow. Now this is Old Testament, but we know that we're now under the law of love, and praise sweet baby Jesus for that. But you have to understand that these things actually still apply, because if you're not ruled in love, guarded in love, kept in love, rooted in love, led by love, seeped in love, engulfed in love, wrapped around by love, and it's your choice. These things, these curses, come to lullaby you, lure you to sleep. In other words, don't tell them who they are. If we keep them asleep, we will have power and dominion in the earth. The moment they wake up, it's a problem. 2019, August 2019 marked, I think, 500 or 600 years of slavery. Time was up. Just so happened to be September 11, 2019, what marks the first day of the age of Aquarius. You think the Rona in 2020 was all a conspiracy? No, it wasn't. It was coinciding with the timelines. And stop thinking that all powers that be is evil. You better understand that there is universal energies that are also called the power that be, that is keeping this checks and balances in flow, in balance, in check. I keep seeing those Libra scales. Now, this is what he said. He said, God is with you in all that you do. This is the 22nd verse of the 21st chapter. He said, now therefore swear to me by God that you will not deal deceitfully with me or with any of my children or with my descendants. Instead, according to the kindness that I have shown you, you will show to me and the land where you have lived. And then Abraham said, I swear. Then Abraham complained to Abimelech about a well of water that Abimelech's servants had violently seized. So watch this. Now he's saying, okay, now me and you got this agreement. We got this ally. God is sending allies. I told you that the reading that I did earlier today, the channeling that I did earlier today was going to coincide with this. It's all going to coincide with this. And for those of you who got patience to hold on and get this and embody this, you're going to understand what I'm saying. He found an ally in the Philistine king. Now, later on, if you know biblical characters, The Philistines actually became sworn enemies of the Israelites. How do we know that? Well, because they defiled the living armies. They defiled the armies of the living God through Goliath. 40 on the clock. Can't make it up. This is why David had to come up out of his shepherdry. and let's say this. First of all, he was light skinned. Ruddy meant like light skin. He was a yellow bone with red hair. And he was a pretty boy. He was fine. The kind that didn't get, his fingers. Hey, yeah. The metrosexual kind, in other words. He was fine. He was beautiful. All his other brothers belonged to the army. And guess what? He didn't. He was a psalmist whose heart was after God. And all he did was shepherd the sheep. But watch this. He was being trained to be king by fighting lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my. And that's what made him eligible to sit on the throne. Right? So what I'm saying is Abraham had a covenant, made allies with Abimelech, a Philistine king. Sometimes, watch this. Have you ever heard somebody say the enemy of my enemy is my friend? In other words, you and I share the same common enemy. So why not you and I come together to gang up on this enemy? Now watch this. Once this enemy is defeated, that does not mean that you and I compete. We need to keep the treaty, the allied treaty between us, so that we can have a strong bond and a strong covenant, just in case 42-24 on the clock, just in case a nigga try. They can't. Because 2 is better than 1, and a 3-4 chord is not easily broken. But he said 1 could put 1,000 in a fight, 2 could put 10,000 in a fight, 3 can put 100,000 in a fight, so on and so forth. Where 2 or more are gathered, there he is there in the midst. See, there's strength in numbers. 42 was on the clock. Strength in numbers. So what I'm saying is right now, call your allies. For those of you who are in a dark time right now. For I don't know about y'all, but the last few days I had been feeling something. Soft, vulnerable. I've been in prayer, crying a lot more. 2030 was in here. That's number 5. Crying a lot more, beseeching God more. Things was on my mind. But watch this. Not fighting for my sanity, but more so fighting for my peace in sanity. In other words, knowing that everything is going to be all right. So for those of you who this resonates for, drop me an emoji. Because I'm going to tell you something. I see your tears. I see your pain. I see you tired of crying out to God. I'm tired. I know you're tired of hearing the promises of God, but seeing no tangible results. Yeah. But God is getting ready to show up and show out. Wait, watch this. I know we've heard it all before. Listen, heard it all before. I myself, can I be honest and frank with you? 44:14. I'm going to be real with you. Thank you, light of love. I'm going to help you, somebody. It is okay to feel like enough is enough. God is not going to shun you because you're scared to tell him how you feel. He already knows. He's a God of vibration. How do you know? How do you know, Ra? How do you know, Jess? Well, let me tell you how I know. In the beginning was the Word. The Word was God, and the Word was with God. That's a vibration all by itself. Abracadabra means I create what I speak. What we don't understand is, and let me tell you, This ego death tower card moment that I've had for the last 6 months, 7 months, has shown me how important the spiritual realm is, even over this mundane realm. And it showed me the power of the spoken word. And a lot of us, because I'm going to say us, but I'm going to also say this, a lot of you don't understand what you are speaking into existence, good or bad. God says, give it to me. I want you to tell me your problems and your troubles. Because I'm going to tell y'all, some of y'all got on the phone today and called your cousin or your sister or your homeboy or somebody you think you can trust. But I just heard in the spirit, God say, a listening ear got a telling mouth. You keep going to the wrong people. You keep going to the wrong people and telling the wrong people your business, hoping and praying that they're going to pray for you. But watch this. I hear in the spiritual realm, God say, pray for an ally. Some of us for the last 6 to 7 months have been walking alone. Do you hear me? This is for my green light group. Y'all know what the green light group is. Some of us been walking alone in this thing. God, I just want a companion. I don't care if it's a dog or a cat, God. I just don't want to be alone in this thing no more. Companionship don't necessarily mean love. Husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, even though that is good. Because the sister is celibate over here. And yeah, woo! Head ready to pop, ready to blow off. But guess what? I'm staying celibate in Christ. Can't nobody touch this sugar bowl. You ain't about to be stalking me. Ladies and gents, when you are endowed with the power of God, and I'm not playing, you better be careful who you give your love to. And I do mean not just love, but sexually as well. That is a spiritual ritual. Sex is a spiritual ritual. It's magic. And it's not to be taken lightly. Because some of y'all have laid down with dogs and got up with more than fleas. Y'all got ticks. And everything else, Holy Spirit, help us. And I'm not just talking about physically. I'm talking about spiritually and energetically. And I'm going to say this to y'all because look, watch this. Now, what if Abimelech was an unrighteous king and would have went into Sarah? Watch this. And then casted her out and used her for what she had. And then she went back to her husband, bitter and hurt. And then he would have laid down with her. Do you know that she was a conduit to transfer any unrighteous energy from that king to her husband? And some of y'all lives is turned upside down and you can't put a finger on it. It's because the last person you slept with then gave all their energy of failing shit. Can't keep money, can't keep a job, can't keep nothing. And now all of a sudden they up, but you stuck. That's because they transferred the energy onto you. And now you can't get it off. You understand? You understand? So you got to know the power of exchange. I got it written down. Receiving and receptivity. The ability to receive. Because this is an art form and I'm going to show you. I'm going to help you. Now, they make a covenant. They make an ally, with one another. Then he starts to tell me, he said, look, I done dug this well of water. And your people, your soldiers came. And they seized it from me violently. They was physically putting their hands on me. So the king Abimelech says, I don't know who done this. You didn't tell me and I didn't hear of it until today. So now he's saying, okay, now look, you keep keeping stuff from me. Watch this. 50:05 on the clock. God, I pray that you make us like the sons and the daughters of Issachar, to be able to not only discern the times and the seasons that we in, but to discern the people who was for us and who was not for us. but that when our allies do appear in three-dimensional form, that we know what to say, when to say, and how to say it. That we will form an unbreakable bond in the eyes and in the image of love in your name. Because we don't want to forfeit favor that is coming. Yes, shout out to all my people who's practicing celibacy. Now watch this. Abraham took seven ewe lambs. He gave them oxen and sheep, but 7 lambs he gave to Abimelech. And he asked him, "Why are you giving me 7 lambs?" And he told him, he said, "I'm giving you 7 lambs so you can be a witness that I dug this well, that this well is mine." So again, here we go with energy exchange. I'm going to give you this for that. You could get with this or you could get with that, right? You can get with this. You see what I'm saying? Reciprocity, an energy exchange. I want you as king of this vicinity to acknowledge the fact that I discovered this well. I dug this well. There's a water source here. And now that you know that it's mine, I'm going to give you this as a token and a symbol that you sworn to me this day that you acknowledge this is my well. Right? Now watch this. He said that, therefore he called this place Beersheba, because the two of them swore an oath there. Now this is called the place of the oath. Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose with Phicol, the commander of his army, and they returned to the land of the Philistines. That's how you know that he was a Philistinian king. It says he returned to the land of the Philistines. Abraham planted a tamarisk tree in Beersheba. Now this is a tamarind pope tree, okay? And there he called on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God. Abraham stayed in the land of the Philistines many days. Let me back up. 33rd verse of the 21st chapter says, "And he called on the name of the Lord, the everlasting God." That's significant because it's going to lead us into the 22nd chapter. That name, the Lord, the everlasting God, in the Hebraic language is Yahovah El Olam. Some people say Jehovah, which literally translates to eternal and timeless Almighty. Also known as El Olam. Now watch this. Watch this. After these things, God tested Abraham, 22nd chapter, first verse, and said to Abraham, and then he answered God and said, "Here I am." Then he said, "Take your son, your only son Isaac, whom you love, and go to the land of Moriah or Moriah, and offer him there as a burnt offering on one of the mountains, which I will tell you." So Abraham rose up early in the morning and saddled his donkey and took 2 of his young men, which was his servants, with him, and Isaac his son. And he split the wood for the burnt offering and arose and went to the place that God had told him. Then on the third day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from a distance. And Abraham said to his young men, he said, "Stay here with the donkey. The boy and I will go over there and worship and then return to you." He didn't say I was going to return alone. He said, "Me and the boy going to go." 54:45 on the clock, 54:44. So Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it on Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and the knife. And the two of them walked on together. But Isaac spoke to Abraham his father and said, "My father." And he said, "Here I am, my son." And he said, "Here is the fire and the wood, but where's the lamb for the burnt offering?" And this is how Abraham answered his son. He said, 8th verse of the 22nd chapter, he said, "My son, God will provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering." So the two of them went together. Now he's not even telling his son what's getting ready to happen. 55:25 on the clock. Now, watch this. Because Abraham has been knowing all this time that this boy that's asking him these questions is the one he's supposed to put on this fire. He's keeping it from him. He ain't saying nothing. Why? He's known to keep secrets, this Abraham. He's known to not say nothing. 55:45, 55:55 on the clock. He just said God's going to provide for himself the lamb for a burnt offering. Why you ain't telling him that he got to go? 32:22. Okay. The keeper of secrets. Do you have to necessarily tell everybody your... No, you don't. But do you think that if Isaac would have known that he was going to be the offering, that maybe if Abraham said, if I tell my son, he going to run, or if I tell my son, it's going to be too hard for him to understand? Could be possible. But for whatever reason, we don't know, he didn't say it. So look, they came to the place that God told him. So Abraham built the altar and arranged the wood, and he bound Isaac. He tied him up. And the way that he bound him up, he used what you call tongs, which is the way that he did it, a special way in Judaism, and it's called akedah. It was a specific way that he bound his son up. A ritualistic way. The righteous way of God to receive this type of offering. It was a way of binding something, tying something up before offering it up, so that God would have known what type of offering it was. Okay? Even that was specific. Said, bound his own son and laid him on an altar of wood. And Abraham stretched out his hand and took the knife to slay his own son. 11th verse. But the angel of the Lord called to him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. Then he said, do not lay your hands on the boy, or do not do anything to him, because now I know that you fear God, seeing you have not withheld your only son from me. Now watch this. This angel just told you who he was. I'll read it again and see who catches it. Then the angel said, do not lay your hands on the boy or do anything to him, because now I know that you fear God, seeing that you have not withheld your only son from me. Now he just said you feared God as if that was an external force. But then he said, you have not withheld your only son from me. In other words, this angel was God in the flesh. Watch this. Then Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behind him was a ram. Aries is what? Help me. Aries is what? What is the symbol for Aries? A ram. Now watch how this all is going. It says a ram was caught in the thicket by its horns. So Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up as a burnt offering in the place of his son. In the place of his son. Abraham then called that name of that place Jehovah Jireh. The Lord will provide. As it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it will be provided. Then the angel of the Lord called to Abraham out of heaven a second time, which means now this angel ascended up and said, by myself I have sworn, says the Lord, because you have done this thing and have not withheld your son, your only son. I will indeed bless you, and I will indeed multiply your descendants as the stars of the heavens and as the sand that is on the seashore. Your descendants will possess the gate of their enemies. Your descendants will possess the gate. Gates keep people in. Gates keep people out. Gates is security. Gate. Oh, Lord God, help me. In order for you to open up a gate, you must have a key. Now, in this day and time, in the age of Aquarius, we say access code. 1, 2, 3, 4, beep. Back in those days, it was some kind of contraption, something you had to unlock, lock up, possibly keys as well. Nevertheless, gates locked and they unlocked. Through your offspring, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. Through your offspring, all the nations of the earth will be blessed. Black people, you are the number one consumer in the world. Less, but yet you own less than as of 2019, 1% of the world's less than 1% of the world's population of business. That actually went up under the administration of Trump. Believe it or not, he was good for the economy. Listen, that's not a political and that's not a biblical statement. It just was what it was. It is what it is. Nevertheless, children of God, you may be the offspring of Abraham, but that does not mean that you are exempt from the consequences of the decisions that you make. Be mindful. Because even your father Abraham was over here sinning and doing all kind of manners of craziness. Protecting his neck and not his wife. But he did say, through your offspring, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice. Then it says, so Abraham returned to his young men, and they arose, and they went together to Beersheba, and then Abraham lived there. He lived in Beersheba, where he made the covenant with the Philistine king Abimelech. He lived in the Philistinian. He was living amongst foreigners. He was not living amongst his kindred. I'm hearing in the spirit, some of y'all is getting ready to be moved. And it's going to be moved to a place that you, oh, have mercy. You're not familiar with the place, but blessings are there. We get so caught up in skin color. Oh, I want to move to Africa because, Africa, yeah, that's our people. Let me tell you something. You haven't even mastered the spiritual things in America. I have lived in South Africa and I have seen some things, baby. And let me tell you something. That ain't no cakewalk. Africa got some heavy ass energy. And whereas there are the blessings of the Lord is there, I'm telling you right now, you better tread carefully. You understand? Don't try to move to a place just because there's a bunch of people who look like you who live there. Be mindful. Ask God to send to you. Thank you, Master number 11. 3 plus 8 is 11. Be mindful. Ask God, where am I going? God, send me to the place that's going to serve me to my highest good for myself and others to the glorification of your name. Because that's really what it's all about. You understand? Are y'all with me still? Now watch this. I'm going to break this down for y'all. Chapter 21, verse 33. He calls the name of the Lord, the everlasting God, which directly translates to Jehovah, eternal and timeless, almighty, El Olam. This is the timeless and ageless God, not bound by time or time itself. This is also what we call the Ancient of Days. El Olam is what he called. Now, God led me to this nugget. And please, if you're willing to donate to me, please donate to Cashapp. OOT as in the, M as in mystic, H as in healer. For dropping these free gems. I love free gems. I'm not requiring for y'all to donate. I'm just saying if y'all want to. The root chakra seed chant is Lam. Watch this. Lam. That's what you call a seed mantra. Seed mantra. The root chakra chant, Lam, deals with fears, insecurities, and it just so happened to be the same seed chant for wealth, riches, and possessions. Watch this. The root chakra is the most mundane chakra because it first deals with the 3D physical realm. However, in order for all of the other six chakras to be rooted, which all of the other ones have more spiritual connotations, even though the upper two above, which is the sacral and the solar plexus chakra, also deals with the mundane. But now we're going into the spiritual because now it's dealing with the power of the mind and the power to will things into existence. This is sacral and solar plexus, which is confidence and self-worth, creativity. But in order for those six chakras to be in good and right standing and balance, the root chakra is the most important. Lam. Lam. Abraham had a fear. He had an insecurity. God is asking me to give up the very thing that I've been praying for. And watch this. The promise of my blessings is coming through my son. And he's asking me to give this thing up to the altar. What are you willing to give up? What have you prayed for? My God. What have you prayed for, saints? That you're looking for. Some of you have received it already. God is saying, are you willing to put it on the altar just for me? I want to see you being tested. I want to see how faithful you're going to be. Are you willing to bring it to me? I heard that quartet song. Bring it all home to me. Yeah, 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 yeah. That very thing that is near and dear to your heart. If I ask you, there is more than I require of thee from you. Would your heart and soul say yes? Shekinah Glory Ministry, say yes. Would your heart and soul say yes, yes? Would your spirit still say yes? If I told you what I really need from you. Then she says, if I told you what I require of thee, would your heart and soul say yes? It's hard. Listen, it's easy to say yes because right now you don't see it. You don't see the requirement. But wait till it get into your possession in the three-dimensional realm. When you're staring at it in the face, when that money is staring at you in the face, when that man or that woman is staring at you in the face, when that opportunity is staring at you in the face, and God said, give it to me. Are you willing to walk away? If I tell you, you got to walk away. And without explanation. See, that's the kicker right there. Watch. Because God did not give Abraham an explanation as to why I want you to sacrifice your son to me. He just said, do it. Are you catching the drift? See, it's not about you giving it. It's without explanation because in the mundane world, the human mind wants to understand God. And we come to a time and a place where here we got Jehovah or Jehovah El Olam, which does not make sense, who is time himself, the ancient of days, does not have, you don't have to comprehend them because you can't. Not in his entirety. And what he might be telling you does not have to make sense, but he's requiring a sacrifice. Lam, the root chakra seed mantra chant, dealing with fears and insecurities. He told him to go to the land of Moriah. Now there's in the land of Moriah or Moriah, which how you really say this is Moriah. There's a mountain called Mount Moriah. Most likely back in those biblical days, that was what you call a monument or a landmark of that land. Probably was big and beautiful. I have an idea of actually where it is located. I do not believe that the location that they're telling us is that specific location. I could be wrong. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. Now, after this was called, after God provided the ram in the bush, it says Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh. The Lord will provide. There's another name for Jehovah Jireh, which means the Lord will see to it, or the Lord will see it through. In other words, I will not see through I will not stop the promise of something that I've spoken. The book of Isaiah said, my word will not go out from me null and void, for it's going to go out there and accomplish what I've told it to do, what I've said it to do. So God understands, again, abracadabra, the power of the spoken word. What have you been abracadabraing all month long in the month of March? March, we focused on money. But now it's April. What are we going to focus on? Hmm? We've planted the seeds of the pentacles. Are we going to reap harvest? Some of us didn't reap a big harvest. You know why? Because it's coming. April is going to blow your mind. Come on, if you with me, say it is so. Amen. Ashe, aho, whatever you want to say. 12:21 on the clock. Been seeing 12:21 all week. 25:25. Can't make it up. If you believe and receive that that's your word, come on, comment below. Because the truth is, sometimes seeds that are planted don't necessarily mean that you see it right then and there. Because you quickly planted them don't mean they're going to sprout up quick. Now watch. The root chakra chant Lam also cleanses impurities that collects at the base of your spine, and it allows vital force energy, also known as prana, to freely flow there. It also grounds you and connects you to the earth. This is pentacle energy. Now, fears and insecurities we seen in El Oyam, right here, in the word. We seen it in Abraham. But we also see, watch this, wealth, riches, and possessions after he passed the test, which is the 17th verse of the 22nd chapter, when he said, I will indeed bless you, and I will indeed multiply your descendants and call your descendants blessed, and they're going to be blessed, and the nation's going to be blessed through them, and all this other stuff. Lam. So it is safe to say that on Mount Moriah, or Mount Moriah, that Abraham chanted. He connected with God through universal energy. His pineal gland was open. Now, I did some etymology work on the name Moriah or Moriah, Mount Moriah. For the sake of this live, I'm gonna say Mount Moriah. Now we know that Lam is the seed chant for the root chakra, in which the root chakra is responsible for provision and refuge. Jehovah Jireh, which is security and safety. So we see how the chakra, the root chakra, corresponds. Funny enough, the root chakra is red, which has Ram energy or Aries energy, or some people say Mars energy. When you look at the Emperor card, in the traditional tarot deck, he's sitting on a concrete throne. He has a square, and I think the square is in a triangle. But if you can see, in front of the pillars of that throne is a ram's head. It's Aries type of energy. Now, some people say I think there's some people say Sagittarius, whatever, whatever. But I'm telling you that the zodiac signs have changed on some of these traditional tarot cards. And at one point in time, it was Aries energy that sat on the emperor. Do you hear what I'm trying to tell you? Don't think it's strange. Things change. Mount Moriah, come to find out, when I researched, was known as the place of provision and refuge. Jehovah Jireh. Mount Moriah also is the mountain that Solomon built his temple on. I didn't know this. 2626 in the building. It is also the place where God visited David on the threshing floor. What is the threshing floor for some of you who do not understand biblical context? The threshing floor is where the harvesters of the wheat used to take the wheat and they would beat it so that the weight of the seed of the wheat can fall to the ground, and the chaff, that very thin outer layer piece, would blow away in the wind. This is when the wheat was being separated from the chaff. The wheat is what we consume and eat for subsistence, and the chaff only protects the wheat until it's time for harvest. Provisions is being made for you, and some of us are being beat. We're on the, oh God help me, we're on the threshing floor. God is saying, I'm not thrashing you, and I'm not putting you on this threshing floor to destroy you. Jeremiah 29:11. 2 plus 9 is 11. We got 11:11 universal law energy that is coming through the scriptures that literally is telling us that you're not going to be destroyed, but it is for your destiny. I just heard genetic makeup, molecular structures are being restored. I'm hearing princes are being restored to their thrones. Kings and queens are being restored to their rightful places. Because the threshing floor, guess what? God is allowing the beatings of these trials and tribulations that is coming to make us strong. I believe it's in the book of Romans that says, for the sufferings of this present time is not worthy to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed in us. What I'm saying is this: it is hurting now because God is getting rid of the last bits of the chaff. We under pressure and we under fire right now because God is getting the last bits of the dredge out, that those impurities, because we're getting ready to be pulled out of the refiner's fire as pure gold. We're getting ready to be given substance, refuge, and security. I also found out that Mount Moriah is also Golgotha or Golgotha. Golgotha translates the place of the skull, where is Jesus was crucified. Jesus was crucified, watch this, on the same mountain that Abraham was told to sacrifice his son. Do you think that that's a coincidence? No. Breaking down Moriah or Moriah in Hebraic etymology, which was a little bit harder to do. Moriah or Moriah, Yah, meaning God. According to Psalms 68:4, it says, blessed is he who rides on a cloud. Blessed is for his name is Yah. Some of your texts may say Jah, but we know that the letter J is the youngest letter of the alphabet, which is also a numerical code as well. Mount Moriah, Yah, meaning God. God is awesome. God, or Yah is awesome. Yah is teacher. Place of reverence of Yah. Being seen by Yah. The bitterness of Yah. The myrrh of Yah. Seen by God. Yara means to revere or fear God, reverence God. Ra, to see. Mara to be bitter or strong in taste and smell like an herb. Possible meaning or mora is early rain. I'm going to break all of this down to y'all. And it's related to the Hebrew noun Torah. Moreh means early rain and teacher. Yara is a verb which means to bring into materialization by usage of tools like stones, arrows, words, instructions, raindrops, etc. Yara refers to rain that falls during the first period of an agricultural year when the seeds blossom but don't bear fruit, but it doesn't bear fruit. I'll say it again. Yara refers to rain that falls during the first period of an agricultural year when it's time to start planting, when the seeds blossom but doesn't bear fruit. In other words, the seed has germinated in the ground, the firstlings of it, the sproutlings comes up, but there has no fruit on there. Yara speaks of from the perspective of the soil and not the seed. So literally, Mount Moriah is translating and it's telling us the prophetic word that went forth is not only going to be planted, but it's going to be made good. And can't nobody pluck it up and pluck it out because it's a prophetic word directly spoken from God. And if he said it, it is established. If he said it, it is established. Whatever God has promised to you, watch this. Now, some of y'all have prayed some prayers and you are getting ready to get what, oh God, you are getting ready to get what you asked for. But you better be sure that it's in God's perfect will and not his permissive will. Now, if you choose to take it, God may bless it. But watch this. Is it what you're going to really want? Is it what you're going to really want? Because even though Sarah prayed for a baby, she tried to do it by her own means by making her handmaiden sleep with her husband. And she got the baby, but she ended up asking her own husband to put his own son away. See, sometimes you do things and you put things in actions and you think that's what you want. And then down the line, you see, oh, I made a mistake. So then now God had to bring the promise around. Are you going to want the real promise when it shows up? Because God heard your cries and your pleads. He said, in the tenderness of your thoughts, in the tenderness of your moments, you asked of me a pure thing. And now I'm about to make good on that promise. But are you going to treat it right when it comes around? Because I'm going to give it to you. Can you handle it? Why am I hearing Usher? Can you handle it if I go there, baby, with you? Because see, to some of us, God has to act as our husbands until our husbands show up. To some of you men, God is acting as your helpmate until your helpmate shows up. Let's be honest. There's different aspects of God. Stop trying to block him into him. I'm only saying him for your understanding. God is an energy. God is a mother to the motherless and a father to the fatherless. In the South, we've always prayed, my Father, Mother, God. I remember when I was a little kid in the spiritualist church that I grew up in. Not too far. Not too far. An older woman had her Bible open. To the daily prayer, the daily bread prayer. And I'll never forget looking at it as a child. And it said, Father, Mother, God, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. I said, Father, Mother, God. Father/mother. That's what it said. I never seen nothing like that, but I was a little kid. To be about, I remember this. I was maybe about 3, 4. Right before we moved to Detroit, Michigan. It's only an energy, y'all. We call him because the Piscean age has placed upon us that only something that powerful can be masculine. Lies. Lies. The world was without form and void. We're talking about a woman's womb. And the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of God hovered over the deep. And then God said, what? Let there be light. And then light was created. We are talking about the consummation between God and his wife, creating a whole universe, a whole earth. That's what that was. There was a whole womb involved. So you got to have the feminine aspect alongside of the masculine. Again, Yara speaks from the perspective of the soil and not the seed. Abraham was the soil and not the seed. His son was the seed, but he was the soil because in him God deposited the promise. The seed of his promise was given to him by his son. But he asked him, are you willing to give that up? Moriah or Moriah is to see, to understand, to make or become visible, to become understandable. Roe and a Moriah or Moriah, Rhea, seer, prophetic vision as means of revelation or mirror. Or mirror. God is putting up in front of you today a mirror. I'm hearing twin flame energy is about to be real huge this year. Lord help us all. Yara is speaking about receiving and receptivity, which is the ability to receive and it's sticking. What do I mean by receiving and sticking? Here in the South, the law of receptivity and receiving is very well demonstrated in the sugarcane fields that are not far from here. Every year during this time, we don't see it. They've already placed the stalks in the ground. By the time August and September roll around, it's grown, ready to be harvested. Then toward into the winter, they are not only harvesting the sugar cane, they are now processing it. And this goes on well into the winter until it's time to burn the fields and do it all over again. They burn the bottom and the stalk of the fields to keep down dis-ease. Because they understand the law of reciprocity. In other words, as long as the earth remains, Ecclesiastes say, seed time, harvest. There's a time to sow, there's a time to reap. There's a time for war, there's a time for peace. There's a time to embrace, and then there's a time for no embracing. This is the word. I can even say there's a time for sex and a time to refrain from sex. But Yara, which gives us a perspective. In other words, it gives a voice to the soil, not the seed. It gives voice to the feminine aspect, not the masculine. Masculine is the seed. The feminine aspect is the soil. But now we're talking about Abraham, who was a man, who spits the seed out, and his wife is the soil, but not in this case. It's safe to say that on this mountain, on that day, that God and Abraham married each other. What do I mean by that? God and Abraham married each other in holy matrimony through an allocation or being an ally of a covenant. He made a covenant. You found, watch this, and this is what God said. If you look at it, this is from the perspective of the seed, God. He said, you made me worthy enough that if needed be to receive your son as a sacrifice unto me. So now I'm going to make you worthy to receive the blessings just because you demonstrated that you was willing to go through with it. In Hebrews chapter 11, he says, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen. Second verse. For by it the men of old obtained a good report. If you jot to the 17th verse, it says, by faith Abraham, when he was tested, offered up Isaac, and he who had received the promises offered up his only son. Of him, God said, through Isaac shall your seed be named. He reasoned that God was, watch this, able to raise him up, even from the dead, from which he indeed received from him in a figurative sense. And then he goes on to talk about how he even blessed Isaac's offspring, which is his twins. What are you holding on to faith for, y'all? What is your lam? What is your seed chant? You are the soil. What are you willing to plant inside of yourself tonight? Ra'ah. What are you able to see? What are you willing to see? The Bible says when David looked, and I'm going to add to this, far and wide, seeking somebody who was able to encourage him, but he couldn't find nobody. So the Bible said he turned around and had to encourage himself. He encouraged himself. He encouraged himself. Are you willing in this season to encourage yourself? I'm hearing in the spiritual realm, we are right at the breaking point. God help us. I know you're tired, saints. I know you're tired. I know you're tired. I know you're tired. I know you're tired. And I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record. Even myself, God kept telling me, hold on this week. Hold on. I just got tired. I had to get real with him at 2:00 this morning. All I could do was cry and weep. And I said, God, I've been faithful. I know I'm not perfect, but I know I've been faithful. I've been putting my hands to the grind, and not because I'm trying to be above anybody, but because I really do love you. I really keep your commandment of love as best as I can. And I'm like, God, you got to give me something. And I didn't realize until now, I'm asking God for a seed. What is your seed? What is your seed that you're asking God of? Is it a seed of new life? To start over, a clean slate? Is it to move to a different place so you can start over, change your name? To get wealth? Is it to have a baby? Is it to have a marriage? A beautiful marriage? Is it to have a spouse or companion? A new car, a new house, a new job, a better job? Is it peace of mind? Is it clarity? Is it health? What is your seed that you're asking God for? Lam. Your root chakra is in balance. God help us with our fears and insecurities. I'm hearing this Neptune and Jupiter conjunction is going to help us with that. Things is coming up to the surface. But I'm going to tell you this. I'm also hearing unity. In the book of Acts, he sent them out 2 by 2 to do his work. God is yoking up people in the spirit. You hear me? God is yoking up people in the spirit. Not too much long after this will you be alone. Not too long after this will you have to bear the burden alone. I know how you feel, saints. I know how you feel, collective. But you are the soil. You are not the seed. You are getting ready to be a seed in somebody else's life. But right now, you're tender. You are fallow ground. And the test and the trial softened you up and worked you and tilled you and aerated the ground and broke it all up. And now you're fertile ground and you don't even know it. And now God is getting ready to plant. I am hearing seeds of destiny. I pray you believe it. This is a sure word from God. I'm just a messenger. God is saying, what is your seed that you're asking of me? Some of us don't have because we ask not. We ain't knocked at the door. We ain't sought, so we ain't finding. So pray this prayer with me. As I pray for myself, this is a non-reversible prayer. I come up against, I conjure and command the angels of the living armies of the living God to encamp around about each and every one of us right now, the saints of God, that is for love in the 5D, love and above. We render totally the enemy powerless and harmless. I command every warring angel at the sound of my voice. I see him. I see it. My mind is so open. It's so heavy in here. It is so heavy in here. I see angels with swords. With their swords out like it's time. Angels of light, living beings. I'm seeing them. I'm seeing them. First and foremost, guard us, guide us, and protect us all this weekend and even in the next month and all this year long and even for the days of our lives, down to 1,000 generations if need be. I thank you, angels. First and foremost, I give direct praise, honor, and homage to God, known by many names: El Elyon, El Olam, Elohim, Jehovah Jireh, Jehovah Nisi, Jehovah Tiskanu. We have so many names, God. But the name that I choose, Father, Teacher, Wise One, Comforter, the one who brings compassion, the love source, universal vibration. I choose to call you by those names as well. I come on behalf of myself and these viewers, for there are some people who don't know how to pray. They may believe that their prayers falls on deaf ears. But I pray as you're commanding me right now through your Holy Spirit, I ask that your angels do not allow this prayer to stay earthbound, like the book of Daniel, but push it up to the heavens and please deliver it to the throne. God, set it at his feet if you got to. But I beseech God on behalf of myself and the saints here down on this earth in this three-dimensional plane. God, some of us don't even know what to ask for. So I ask that this prayer be the offering. For we know you got a ram in the bush. We know that the true offering that you're asking for and for us to put on the altar is us, our hearts, dedicating ourselves to you and your work and the mission. Order our footsteps. Keep us in the times that we vibrate low, because those are the times it's so easy for us to be subjectable to unseen forces that mean us harm. We ask that you put a bubble in the shield of protection, vibrating energies to raise our harmony and vibrations within us, so that with the times we do get low, when we can't find nobody else to encourage us but God, we will go in our pouch and eat some energy seeds to encourage ourselves. And now, God, I beseech and petition on my behalf and behalf of the saints in the collective that is watching, that is called by your name, that is sealed by your name and marked by your name, the tablet of love on their hearts. I ask for a miraculous breakthrough, a breakthrough like never before, a breakthrough that is going to make us shift our neck so fast. It's going to break records. We're tired. You want us to be able to express our hearts. But some people are afraid because they believe that you are a very strict God. They don't see that you are a very loving God and a compassionate God. And we know that you said, guard your heart, for out of it flows the issue of life. But you also want us to tell you what's on our hearts and our minds, because you are the great fixer. You are the great regulator. You are the repairer of the breach. You are the miracle worker. We're asking for miracles, signs, and wonders. You told us to remind you of your word. Jeremiah 29:11, Lord, you told us, for you know the plans that you have for us. Plans to prosper us and not to harm us. Plans to give us a future and a hope. God, we need hope. We're asking for seeds. Give us that hope so that we know that our future is not lost. Some of us just need to see it. Make it tangible, God. Olam is a tangible God. Make it tangible. Make it 3D. Some of us are holding on by a thread. Bind up the spirit of depression in the name of Jesus. I come up against the spirit of loneliness. I'm hearing this a wickedness of the mind, saints. The devil is whispering to you, trying to make you forfeit the promise on your life because you're very close. Look up the song Marvin Sapp, Close. He's working for your good. God, we're just asking for tangible results. Tangible results, especially in this coming month of April, which is Aries season. Help us to put a fire up underneath us to finish what we start, to accomplish our goals, small and great. Give us new creative ideas. Give us kingdom mindsets and ideas. Help us to think and dream big. Help us to defeat all fears and insecurities so that we can live in wealth, riches, and possessions, not just materialistic, but also spiritual. But we are asking for mundane miracles. We thank you. We honor you. And if there is anything that has offended you that is in our hearts, we humbly ask for forgiveness. We take the knees and we bow humbly before you, whether it's metaphorically or physically. We submit. We prostrate ourselves before you, God, in a worship position, bowing as a sign of surrender, because we have tried everything and it ain't worked. Stuff ain't budged. It may have moved a little bit, but it ain't do nothing. And then it snapped right back into place. Remind us every day when we wake up to give you honor, glory, and praise, and to acknowledge you so you can direct our path. We release everybody in our hearts. Anybody that we've been holding unforgiveness toward. God, you can deal with them the best. We release them so that we can be forgiven. We show mercy so that we can obtain mercy. We give peace so that we can live in peace. Most of all, we give love so we can receive love. I thank you in advance because I'm your daughter and I'm spoiled. For hearing the prayers of the righteous ones and keeping us so ever near toward your heart that we don't stumble off your path, but we illuminate it with our footsteps for others to follow. In the name of your Son, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, in the name of love, I pray all these things are done. So be it. It is sealed and etched in a stone that cannot be erased, non-reversible. Amen. Amun. Abracadabra. I hope this has resonated with y'all. I hope this has helped you all. I don't know what else to say. I'm out of here. 31 in the building. 45 on the clock. I love y'all so much. Know that I'm praying for y'all. I feel like I've just done so much today. Check out the description box for all updates. Patreon is still up and the website is relaunched. I love y'all. Walk in faith. Be right there. Let's band together to help one another. Let's uphold one another. It may be hard right now. Relief is coming. Okay. I love you all. Peace, prosperity, and protection. Until next time.